Morning, everybody. Uh, Hopefully your weekend was good. Mine was painful. Uh, you get to a certain level in your life, and you tell yourself you shouldn't be doing certain things, but you go and do it because, well, one, you got to, but two, you think you could, and don't lie to yourself, people. Don't lie to yourself. But sometimes you don't know until you try, right? You don't know till you try. It is a colder morning here. I don't know why the summer just doesn't show up already, and sinuses are going crazy right now. So if you see me rubbing my eyes a lot and sniffling, it's not because I'm sick. It is because the no matter how much Benadryl you take out here right now, it's going to sucker punch you. It's going to sucker punch you. It's some bad stuff out here. Anyway, we are going to be taking a gander at Revelations chapter 6. And I want to make something abundantly clear. Um, if you are I want to call you a regular Christian, not one of those that has gone out and done all kinds of theological studies, do not think for a minute that a basic understanding of the Bible isn't enough. It is, because all of it, like it said, was to point you to a person. And that is the pivotal point of the entirety of the book, is to get you to go before and to have a relationship with and commune with God. So don't think for a minute that you have to understand every last aspect, because it tells you can't. Much studying will weary your mind. Okay? So I'm not saying not to. If that's what you desire, go for it. Not stopping nobody from breaking down every portion of the book. Just be warned, no amount of study is going to tell you when Jesus is coming back. Which is why we're looking at this, because my point of view on this is, people look at the signs in Revelation to try and decipher something they were told they would never be able to decipher. And I do not understand that particular venture of Christians. If you are told that you're not going to know, but he gives you some examples of what, or tells you what to look for to guard your heart against, not to tell you when, it just says it's close. It's not to tell you, oh, now. It's giving you insight as to what you should be looking for, yes. But for the purpose of what? The purpose of you being ready. Not for the purpose of you knowing when. Here's our tendency, and I get why he did this. Here's our tendency. Mankind, I don't mean everybody, but mankind in general, this is our tendency. We don't do a whole lot until we see it becoming critical time. Do you know what I mean? We call those procrastinators. I was a king procrastinator when I was a child. I mean, I was top dog. You couldn't out procrastinate me. There's no way you could do it. I was the procrastinator of all procrastinators. We are talking not the night before an assignment is due. No, 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 no. That's a rookie. I procrastinated till the class was about to start to do my assignment. But we, as mankind, we love to procrastinate. And so when we know something is about to happen, we will wait until the last minute to do something. Don't be that way. Don't be that way. Our tendencies lean towards doing something when it's expedient, or sometimes when it's about a time crunch. Very few of us prep, plan, and are ready. Very few of us. This is a help, is what he's doing. You not knowing is a good thing. Many of us want to know so we can say two things: I knew, or I'll just wait till it's about that time, then I'll do what I got to do. So just that in your mind, so you know exactly what we're doing. Okay. So we are going to dive into this and talk about some things. First off, now I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying with a voice like thunder, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. Now, there's not a whole lot of detail on the white horse in that verse, just what it looked like and its mission. Now, I have heard many breakdowns about this particular thing, and one of the breakdowns was that it is Christ, that is Jesus on the horse. Why? Because the horse is white. Here is my problem with the "it's Jesus" portion of this description. He already overcame, he already conquered. There is no need for him to be given a crown since he already had the crown. And there is no need for him to have the kinds of things he's having going out to conquer, okay? And have to be given the authority to conquer when he already has that authority to conquer. That is a, to me it seems counterproductive to say, oh, here, and especially considering that he is the one opening the seal. So it did not mesh with what I knew of Christ, his own description of himself, much less what people were trying to tell me that this was. So we'll start this off. Now remember too, the timing of this particular event when it comes to the horses. You are looking at a time frame that is during the great tribulation. That's what, at least if you looked and read out Revelation, you'll understand that there are time frames that are supposed to have and happen, and because of that there is a certain individual that should already be around before this horse appears. So if that is the case, and he is supposed to return at the end of everything, it can't be Jesus. That there is no way for the white horse to be him if you look at the time frames, the way Revelation lays it out. And I'm not talking about time when it comes to 3 years here and 5 years here. We're talking about in frame of when an event happens to when another event takes off. It cannot be. It cannot be. It can't be Jesus. It only can be one other. The other part to it, and this was one thing that a brother broke down for me. Whenever these things are mentioned, they always, and when especially when they're grouped in four, they're all four of a kind. So there's not like three bad, one good, or two bad, two good. All of them relate to the same: four winds, four beasts, four horses, and they all have of the same kind, which is kind of crazy because when you look at it, then it can't be, if the Bible is consistent and God is too, then you would have to read into it the same way. Okay, four horses must be of the same kind, not just horses, but of the same kind of job. Not one of them is going to yield a positive outcome for mankind. And also remember though, that we are supposed to be the ones that are going to be put also in prison and to be killed. There is coming a time where believers, the true believers, are going to be not just tested, but killed. I hope you are ready for that. We were not promised, hear me out, not all of us are promised the escape. And this is not me saying it, it's in the book. The same book that people say they read. Okay, so I want people to understand that. I want people to understand that. So if that is the case, then you have to understand that not everything that is written here in 6 is for a time for you to know when. You just have to be ready. And the book tells you this before too. When it talked about the 10 virgins, and 5 were wise, 5 weren't, and 5 were ready, 5 weren't. They all knew that the bridegroom was coming, did they not? All of them knew that at some point he was going to be there. None of them knew when, but their goal was to be ready. That was what they were told to be, was ready. Lamp, oil, reserve. 5 knew and did it. 5 knew and didn't do it. The 5 that knew and did it did not do it because they knew exactly when he was coming, nor did they care. They simply prepped. They simply prepped and they were ready. Mind you, and they were all 10 asleep. So if you look at that compared to what we have to be at the end of time, you ain't supposed to know, but it ain't for you to know. It's for you to be ready. You need to be ready. The things that were written were there for you to be ready, whether that be you asleep or awake. Now, I'm going to give you my interpretation of the whole asleep and awake thing. I do not think that many of them are talking about the sleeping as in, I'm talking about slumber. I think many of them are the dead, not just asleep, but dead. That's just my interpretation of that. I'm not saying that that's what it is. In either case, it does not erase the prior premise of being ready. Before you expire, be ready. Lamp, oil, reserves. Now, the white horse. The one thing that I realize, and this might, again, this is from a perspective, and I want to keep reminding people this. If you are looking to this to try and foretell to you an event, a person, some sort of a marker, you can do that. Feel free. But what if you get your description and what you're looking for wrong? What if you read this and ascribe it to something else that you think might fit this? And then it starts in your mind, well, maybe the book may not be real. Maybe the book might not be true. Maybe I read. Here's my thing. We can all read the book, try and correlate it with something in real life, and forget the entire purpose of what it's for. And sometimes, unfortunately, we do. We forget this all the time. Now, a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. We'll go back to the concept that it is saying this might be Jesus. Cannot be. He has a crown already. He already conquered the grave. He already conquered everything. There's nothing for him to conquer any further. Please be assured that the end is already decided from the beginning. That there is no conquering left for him to do. He has already won. Didn't he say this? I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He's already won. You can't give him something new that he already has in his possession. But he can implement things to set in motion his return. And no, I don't think that this particular white horse is the antichrist. The antichrist has already shown up by the time this takes place. Separate entity altogether. Altogether. So again, we look to things, and here's what people do too. They go and try to figure out who the antichrist could possibly be, and they tell you this person's the antichrist, and that person's the antichrist, and that person's the antichrist. Well, this one has the antichrist spirit, and this one has. If you read, you will obviously know who the antichrist is. There won't even be a question who it is. He will make it completely known who he is. It's not even going to be something he hides. I don't need to speculate about who it might possibly could eventually maybe be. We will read the most obvious things in the Bible, the most obvious, and ignore it. We will see it, and we will say, nah. And then we will try to read into the book something that it never remotely says, but because we want to seem, man, I can really decipher. If it didn't say it, I'm not trying to read jack into it. It's not there. The Antichrist will be known. You will know. The one that asked for the mark, you will know. It is not going to be some kind of a iffy thing. Because if it was iffy, he would not have tried to tell you to avoid taking the mark. But when you're not connected, you will fall for every which way, which is the kinds of people that try to read into the book. And those that look for signs and wonders. You know who does those? You know who actually is given that kind of a illusionary power? The Antichrist. So of course many Christians are going to follow because they're looking for something spectacular. They're looking for a lot spectacular. So no, I don't think that this particular horse is it, because of course it comes after the fact. And when you know who he is, which you will. Which is why I've told people before that this whole thing here was a test. And it was a very good test. I'm not saying that that is how it's going to show up. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know that, because if I say it, I'm going to get censored. You know the thing I'm talking about, right? That, okay. If you watch how the devil does stuff, just in fact, let me bring this up. I think it'll be a good example. I want you to watch this, okay? Because it's kind of crazy how he has not changed his approach. And I keep telling people the devil has not changed anything about how he approaches humankind, like at all. He is very consistent in how he does stuff because he knows it works a lot of the time, but it is also his nature. He cannot avoid it. It's his nature. Okay. So I want you to read this with me real quick, and then I'll break down what I mean by the test. Okay. This is the temptation of Jesus. He was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days, 40 nights, afterwards he was hungry. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if you're the Son of God, command these stones to be turned to bread. Okay. Really, really small temptation. Just eat something. Just eat something. Real small introduction, temptation. Just eat some bread. It's bread. You're not going to, come on. It's been 40 days. You're hungry. Eat some bread. Real small. Nothing big. Right? Nothing big about it at all. Real tiny. Good. We got that? Good. But he answered, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. Quotes straight from his father. Okay, good. The devil took him up to a holy city, set him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. That escalated quick. That escalated quickly. From eat something to kill yourself. But, you won't die because you're the Son of God, so don't worry about it. Jesus said to him, it's written, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. And again, the devil took him up to an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said, I will give you all of this if you fall down and worship me. Now, if you watch what happened, a small little test, eat some bread. Then the big one, kill yourself. No one it'll be saved. You'll be fine. Just jump off. You'll be fine. Nothing will happen to you. Feet won't even get gashed. Okay, well, since you don't want to die, I'll give you everything. Since you're going to stay alive, I'll give you everything, and you just worship me. It is not any different. Not any different. He told you in Revelation that you won't be able to what? Eat, buy stuff, do anything, travel, go without having that. Okay, good. He told you this. Okay. What was their number one threat if you didn't? And how did they butter you up first? It's good for you. You don't want to be ill. It's good for you. Then it escalated. You don't want to die, do you? You don't want to die? No, die. You don't want to die. Take it. And then it went to, I will let you do everything that you want to do if you just but. Has the devil changed anything? I will let you do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want to go, be with whoever you want to be with, travel as much as you want, if you just but. The devil is not the most intelligent, but he is the most persistent and conniving. And he does not change his tactics because he knows the flesh well. He knows the flesh. He knows exactly what mankind is willing to give up. Exactly. You don't want to murder grandma, do you? How many of you heard that statement? Intrigue first, with it being something good for you. The extreme of you don't want death. And then the extreme of I'll give you everything. Meanwhile, in Revelation, it tells you that it will make you that you cannot do this, and this without it. In the meantime, there is a whole nother situation going on with the conquering that's going to come. And many of us are going to be conquered because we do not have the Son. We have the illusion. We have the church going. We have the participation in all these events, but we do not have the relationship. The reason many are going to succumb in the last days is because they have looked for signs. I'm not saying that signs aren't something that you need to make sure that you're aware of, but they are not your relationship. It's not your relationship. If okay, so let's say God isn't real. Let's go touch on some stuff. If God isn't real and the Bible is a lie, can somebody explain to me, if mankind is evolving, why at the writing of that book, everything that it says seems to be reflecting today? Why? One of two things have to be true. Either the book is real or mankind is the devil. And we are our own worst enemy, and there is no salvation for us anyway, anyhow. Some of us might live better lives than the other, but we all end up dead and gone. And we're the reason for our own suffering. So don't blame nobody else but yourself. Most people take that approach, but they don't really want to blame themselves. If you realize they blame other people, I find that kind of odd too, that we don't actually want to take any self-aware kind of steps, but we'll blame other men if we don't believe in God, or we'll blame God because he doesn't exist, which is odd to me again. So, and there'll be many Christians that get to that point. They will get to that point. Here's what they'll say to themselves: why would God allow me to go through all of this? Doesn't he love me? He wouldn't let me go through all that. He would want me to take care of myself and my family. And if taking care of my family means taking something that will allow me to do that, I am sure God would be okay with it. They will tell themselves this. They will. They will alert in their minds that yes, yes, we are sure God would not let me suffer. The only problem is that he told you the complete opposite. 13, 16, and 17. And he caused all, both great and small, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. White horse, red horse, understand this. Being aware of what is to come does not and will not ever give you the leeway to be lackadaisical until something bears out in proof. What if you never actually see an actual horse? The book says a horse. The book says a white horse. And some rider on it to conquer. Are you going to see a real horse? Or are you going to see somebody given power to conquer the whole world? And if you know the one who has conquered all, why would you be worried? This is my biggest question to Christians. I hear people say, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. Why are you worried? Why are you even remotely stressed? If God said that he has already won, the signs are simply there to show you the judgment that is coming and that his word is true. If anything, the more and more signs you see today, especially when you start to realize the correlations between what it said and what was going to happen, isn't so that you would revere the sign. It is so that you would understand that he is real. He's real. He's real. And many of the people who are around today have given all kinds of crazy end time prophecies as well. Really crazy. because they will tell you that this is going to happen and this is going to happen and this and this and this and this. But that has not been revealed to anyone. They look at the solar eclipse, end times is coming. The red cow, oh, and end times are coming. Israel, Hamas, end times are coming. The Illuminati, end times are coming. The mystery of Psalms 83, end times are coming. Prophetic end time. If you just Google or even go to YouTube and type in end time prophecies, you will see everyone saying they know when, they know how, they know everything. Look, it's okay to not know because he told you it wouldn't. It's okay to not know. And it simply is okay to be observant and to measure everything against his word and stay grounded. It's completely fine to be that way. How many times are you going to hear people say this is happening because, and this is happening because the rapture and the rapture and the rapture? How many people you've heard say that? "2024 will be the real good big signs of the end times. The wickedness of man has increased ridiculously to the end times." But if you read the book and you say you believe was authored by Christ, then you should understand this. You have no clue. For one, we still fighting over whether it's allegorical, metaphors, imagery, or real. Mankind is still fighting over whether or not the beast is going to be an actual beast. We still speculate as to how, when Jesus comes back, how every eye will see him and we lived where we live. How? I hear people say, well, because we're going to have communication, we're going to have TV. Not everybody has TV. He says every eye will see. How he's going to do it, I don't care how. If he says he's going to pull it off, all I can do is wait. Like, why are we so obsessed with trying to know stuff he told you can't? Why are we so obsessed with applying man-made knowledge when he told you it's folly? Why? Why? People will even call and say, hey, what about Daniel 9:27? And they shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, but in the middle of the week he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering, and on the wing of abomination shall be one who makes desolate. Remember that? Even until the consumption which is determined is poured out on the desolate. Okay, what does that mean? Oh, no, I don't want people's idea of what it means. Tell me exactly what that means. First of all, explain to me whether or not that week is a week, human weeks, or is that a God-based week where it's, well, like a day is like 1,000 years? Please tell me that too. Which is it? Now, I'm not saying that it's a falsehood. I'm just saying you don't know. I know for a fact this stuff will happen. When? Unknown. How? Unknown. 26 says this: after 62 weeks, Messiah shall cut off, but not himself, shall be cut off, but not himself. And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end of it shall be with a flood. But hold on, didn't he say won't be water but fire next time? Am I disproving the Bible? No. I am not looking for any particular sign because I don't know when. I am aware of a series of events that are going to test my faithfulness to God. The end times is not going to test whether or not God is real. The end times for believers is to test your faith. Are you going to stay true to the end? Someone does come to conquer and given the right to conquer. Are you going to give in, or are you going to stand strong because you know who has the end from the beginning? When you are told to take something, a mark, because you won't be able to do this, this, and this, are you going to stay and not take that because you know the end from the beginning is owned by God? This is a test of faithfulness for the believer, not a test of whether you can read a sign, not a test of whether you can decipher. It is a test of your faith. He who stays to the end. You have to endure to the end. Whether that be your life or the world, your job is to endure to the end. To the end. And here's the thing, Pro. Now, fire could be anything. Could be a nuke, could be a meteor, could be sulfur, could be erupting volcanoes. I don't even know. Doesn't matter to me. However he chooses to play his role out, it's his job. His job. This is your test. And again, the devil works his way up the pole. He will start with something very doable. It's just a small thing. Don't worry about it. God's not going to blame me for that. It's just a small thing. He did the same thing with Eve. Second guess something. It's small. Second guessing is not a big deal. Just, did he really say what he said? Come on. Then the drastic, you won't die. And then eat, man. It's so good. Has he changed his tactic? Answer me, has the devil changed his tactic? The small first, second guess, it's not going to be that big a deal. The extreme, you won't die. In fact, then he gives you the better part. It'll give you wisdom beyond your wildest dreams. And you don't conquer people all the time by just straight up murking them. You can conquer people with 1,000 paper cuts. Bring them to their knees. Which, as I told you, he starts small. Now, the red horse, which we will talk about tomorrow, is a whole different one. Because that one, I think that one is the one that most people are going to say, it's happening right now. If you just look around the world, it's happening right now. That red horse is here. We'll talk about the red horse for sure tomorrow about that one. If you guys have not um, gone to um, my community link, I need you to go to that community link and grab the um, the GoFundMe, please. I'm going to bring this up for you to see it real quick. Okay, here. This is for the lady that has been displaced with the fire at her house. If you go to my community link in my profile, you will see it. We'll talk about that here next week. Don't worry. We'll be getting to all of that next week. That red heifer thing is a big thing to watch for because it is another one of those things that people can easily take and say it's ready, it's time, and just make sure you stay aware. That's all I'm asking. I would tell you, please just go here and check that out. Share it for me, please. We need to get as many people in front of this as possible to help her out. If that's possible by you, please do it. Um, this question: if I or anyone had an answer to that question, the first thing people would do is revere that person and stop listening to the book. It's natural. Now, this first, the white horse, it tells you exactly what its purpose is, how the purpose is executed, who executes it, unknown, because it gives you in a symbology kind of thing. A white horse, for me, that tells me it'll look like peace, but it won't be. It'll look like peace, but it will not be. If I were to take the symbology of a white horse, but it's there to conquer, I believe it will tell you something that will not be true. It'll be almost like a Trojan horse. Bam, you're conquered. Come in peace. I just want us to have unity. Why can't we all just get along? That kind of thing. Conquered. If I were to put my own concept behind it. But since I do not know, I do know that there is coming a time where something is going to happen to conquer and is giving the right to, and there's nothing I can do about it. It will have been given the okay by God to do exactly what it's doing. Now, time frame, I can assume I probably won't be here, but I don't know because nobody knows. Nobody knows how quickly any of this will happen. Nobody knows. Everybody thinks they have a great time frame, and they use numerology and they use this and you don't know. Stop trying to do stuff you can't do. You don't know. It even tells you one will be in the field and then what you don't know. So how do you stay ready? Stay connected. That is your whole job. Stay connected. I know I repeat this an awful lot, but I cannot help. I cannot help. but remind people your job, your only job, your main job is connection to the throne of God. You have to stay. People may not always listen to what you say, but they will listen to what they see. And sometimes you do way more ministering by what they see than what you say, because sometimes what you say ain't matching up. Stay connected. Stay connected. You see all these people talking about you can't use the word Jesus, you can't Jane or Jane. Stay connected. It's so weird that they don't find that issue with any other translations of words from one language to the other. But a language develops a different letter, all of a sudden now that's the problem. Right? Myriads of languages, all authored. And mind you, the Tower of Babel was not the devil that sent confusion, was it? Was it the devil that sent confusion at the Tower of Babel, by the way? That created all these different languages? Was that the devil? I just want an answer on that one, please. Did the devil create other languages? No. No, he didn't. And if he didn't, does he have control over it? No! But y'all want to give him that kind of power, though. Y'all great at giving the devil all kinds of powers. Ain't that crazy? Ain't you kind of weird to be giving the devil that kind of power? You got to be a weirdo to be doing that. Like you a straight up weirdo to be giving the devil that kind of power. Odd, ain't it? Well, I guess you really don't believe what God said when he's the all powerful, I guess. I mean, hey, do what you got to do. In any case, we'll talk about the red horse tomorrow. We'll talk about that red horse tomorrow. And then going down the line, we'll discuss all of them. Red horse. We'll make sure people understand exactly what's coming. Okay. So we're going to do the white, the red, the black, the pale, the souls, the earthquake, and silence in heaven. Those are the 7. So we covered the white. We're going to deal with the red, then the black, then the pale. Okay. So if you are going to be around, awesome, good. Otherwise, we'll catch you then. Scrolling at the bottom, the options for helping what's going on here. Again, make sure, please, you don't do that, anything like that outside of his say so. That's why the throne room's open. And it's his kingdom we're talking about. So if it's not something that he wants done, please don't try and make something happen. And, not that you can foil his plans, but you can step outside of his will, by the way. You can. Just asking everyone to stay there, in it, in the will. Love you guys, mean it. Again, make sure you go check out that link on my community page. Savage Patriots will be on today at 6:30 Eastern. And I think this week we'll be going live twice on Too Strong. So keep an eye out for that. I don't think it'll be today, but I'm pretty sure this week sometime we'll be going live twice. At least that's our plan. It's our plan. It's our hope. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go and try and see if I can find me a chiropractor and snap my neck a couple of times and see if I can get some relief from the stupid stuff I do to myself on the weekends. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. So please, 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 please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself in no way.